It's the Dad's Report channel on 8, the channel you need to watch, the channel you need to see. Set of channels you watch and channels I see. You're not here to impress, only here to express. Once again, I'm in my studio. I don't often come to my studio anymore, just around the corner from my yard. But this is actually my official studio. But state of Britain, state of the UK, the controlled demolition of the UK. Jeff Berwick done a book back in, I think it came out in 2020, 2021, called The Controlled Demolition of the American Empire. Same can be said for the UK, the British Empire, what's left of it. Although if we want to get technical about it, America is a continuation of the British Empire. It's still owned by the Crown, but that's a subject for another video. After World War II, they just shifted things around a bit. Just like the British Empire is a continuation of the Roman Empire, blah de blah de blah and all that. With tiny hats in country. Anyway, not to digress too much. Controlled demolition of the British Empire, not the American Empire, but Britain. Outwardly, it just appears like just one island, an island nation there with a few little territories here and there. Epoxy Island here, Epoxy Island there, Gibraltar, Virgin Islands, etc. All the big countries that used to rule are now independent, although they're not. They're still slaves to the Rothschild banking system. So it never really collapsed, did it, the British Empire in that sense. Anyway, again, I'm digressing too much here. Gotta stay focused, I just had a bit of espresso, so I'm a bit... Right, just talking about current events. We've got this Prime Minister now, hardcore communist dictator, who's basically a puppet of the deep state, World Economic Forum, World Health Organization, stroke all the other organisations. He's going on about going to war with Russia, while at the same time he is the enemy within. By design, he's an actor. He's playing his part. You know, worst Prime Minister I've ever come across in my life. I think anybody you'll talk to will tell you the same thing. They'll say Keir Starmer is the worst Prime Minister ever. Queer Stalin, we like to call him, is evidently a faggot. He's evidently not straight, and he's got no personality. He's not even got any charisma or anything. It's like a plank of wood. You do wonder when you watch him on the TV, on the screen, when he's talking. One has to wonder whether this guy really has a soul, if he's really alive. Some kind of drone, clone, android type thing, you know. You have to wonder. There's nothing there. The lights are on, but nobody's home. And he's got a history. He was the end of the CDC before, and he's directly responsible for allowing Jimmy Savile to get off the hook, because they were questioning him in his latter years. And Jim will fix it for him, so he fixed it for Jim. Quite literally. There is a photograph of him as a young lad with Jimmy Savile. I'm sure Jimmy Savile initiated him into the dark chocolate corridors of arse banditry, I would imagine. I'm sure Jimmy Savile had his way with young Queer, so he owed it to him. There's some contract, there's a contract from when he was a young lad. He was initiated down the chocolate corridor, and therefore he had a role to play. So when it came to him being cornered by the law, Queer Stalin was obliged to, not enough evidence, let him off the hook. I was having this chat with this guy a few months back, last year before the election. He was gunning for Starmer, and I said to him, yeah, he'd be great Prime Minister to have, wouldn't he? Keir Starmer's. He let Jimmy Savile off the hook when he was the head of the CDC. He says, oh, that's been debunked. That was Tory propaganda. And at that point I thought, there's no point in having this conversation. He's too far gone. He's a complete NPC. I'm not sure if that guy still thinks the same about him. Because a lot of people who voted for him really regret it. He was going to become Prime Minister anyway, whichever way the vote went. But he's destroying this country. He's completely destroying the UK. Took away the first thing he did a U-turn on the eating allowances for all people. He was vehemently against it while he was in the opposition party, when the Tories were going to. Rickshaw Shitstack, when he was the Prime Minister, he not so many men and women pushing for taking the eating allowance off all people. And Keir Starmer was saying, no, this is outrageous, you can't do that. So the first thing he done when he got as a number 10 was do exactly what the Tories are doing. Giving billions to Ukraine, pledged a 100-year deal with Ukraine, says he's going to give X billion dollars or pounds a year to Ukraine. I don't know how that's going to work out. He gave $4 billion to the Ukraine. Not too long ago, when there was that little spat, that theatrical spat with Zelensky and Trump in the White House that time. And there's that. All the migrants coming over, they're increasing in number now. Filling up the hotels, filling up private residential properties. They get preferential treatments at the doctors, they get free dental treatment, they get free electric bikes, they get free driving lessons, they even get tickets to football matches. Plus a little bit of spending money, they get free iPhones. Oh, what don't they get? I don't know. I mean, the list goes on. They're at the front of the queue and everything. Whereas the British citizen, and even legal migrants staying here, who are actually paying extortion racket tax, and working their asses off. You've got businesses or jobs or whatnot. Even they're, up in arms about it. Legitimate migrants are actually contributing to society. Are up in arms about it just as much as the Brits are, And they're not working. They're just hanging out, bothering women. The crime's gone up. Sexual assault's gone up. But this is all by design. It's all Bolshevik, communist, tiny hat operatives. They've been taken out of the country, got the shit bombed out of it by NATO forces, plus other countries too. They're coming from all over Africa, Eastern Europe, East Central Asia, the Middle East. Completely culturally different. Many don't even speak English. They have no idea about the cultural nuances of this country. They don't know how to behave. They're weaponised. They're actually literally these migrants that are coming over here now. And they're not just coming over in boats even. They're even coming on planes as well. They're actually weapons. You could say weapons of mass destruction even, because they're coming over in hundreds of thousands, all being Serco are ferrying them straight to the hotel as soon as they arrive on the boats. The RNLI, who are supposed to be rescuing people at sea, ferrying them across this channel. The French authorities bring them halfway across the channel, and then the RNLI take off from there. It's all orchestrated. It's all by design. And if you speak out against this, if you complain, you're a far-right extremist and you're racist, clearly racist. We had that kerfuffle last year, didn't we, when the 3 girls got stabbed to death, young girls, in Southport. and people are protesting about this. And it was at first the rumour went out that it was a boatman that had done it, and that was probably deliberately put out there, you know. But it was a Rwandan, first generation Rwandan lad who lives in Wales, choir boy apparently, and he also played extra. He did a few years earlier. He was actually on Children in Need playing Doctor Who, the same guy that killed these girls. That's weird, isn't it? Isn't that weird? Yeah. And when people were up in arms about it, sending the agent provocateur, start a few riots off, far-right racist thugs causing havoc in the UK, you know. There's a riot in Brick Lane in the Isle of Dogs, just a bit earlier than that, between two rival factions of Bangladeshi community. Different political opinions. Some shit was going down in Bangladesh, and the Bangladeshis are rioting with each other. They never really made it to the news, that did. But as soon as the white people get involved, they're the troublemakers. But when the Muslims are now, you get Muslim troublemakers now, they don't get too much of a erring either. But yeah, it's divide and conquer, isn't it? After the scamdemic, and people were up in arms about the scamdemic, and civil unrest was quite clear by late 2021, early 2022. Civil unrest was on the cards. You had to throw in first they did the Ukraine-Russian number. Suddenly, the scamdemic was over. You didn't need that big booster anymore. And then, of course, Tommy Robinson, the Tommy Tards, the Mossad operative, comes along. And you've got this racial tension now going on by design. Both sides being played by the same tiny arts. And this year, 2025, I dare say we're going to have major civil unrest. It's palpable. This is going to happen. It's already happening in America. You got that in Los Angeles. All by design, all controlled, all orchestrated. And yep, it's not going to. It's not the end yet. So it's civil unrest, possibly civil war. In the meantime, World War III kicks off. Iran, Israel, Russia, Ukraine, China, America, or whatever. Happy days! Peace.